I bet on myself. Yeah, I bet on myself.
Yeah, I bet on myself. Yeah, I bet on myself. I don't need you, I do it myself. Yeah, I bet on myself.
Yeah, I bet on myself. Yeah, I bet on myself.
Yeah, I bet on myself. Okay, dream so big that they think I'm crazy. Let out the beast, no, they can't tame me. Don't play with me, better mind your business. I cannot stop now, I ain't finished. I'ma keep on going till I got that. Okay, the way that I'ma do it, they can top that. No way, critics trying to hate, but I don't talk back, I know that. Plotting on the kid with the bull, tell them all that. I'm the one that I'ma gamble.
Good morning and welcome to For Fantasy's Sake, the Quad City's first and only fantasy football show. I am always your host, Doug Green. I am joined with I don't know who I'm joined with this morning because my brain isn't working yet because the sugar hasn't kicked in. I am joined by DJ Jarvis, Joe Winkle, and
Andrew Fitzgerald.
Andrew Fitzgerald. Thank you very much. I do Andrew. I was struggling on the last name.
I'm Doug Green, and I have pre-Alzheimer's. Wait a minute. I'm forgetting everything.
At my advanced age, yes.
Wait a minute. Where are we again?
Hey, this is season 6, episode 1. 6 years ago, I was a much younger man.
It's okay. At least you haven't aged like a president.
Yeah, I know, right?
You're a little bit grayer than you were before.
Having Joe, our third co-host, was equally as follically challenged as Joe. So
yes, that's true.
Very.
Very.
We it's fine. We're out here. We're living.
I was thinking about this prior to coming to do episode 1, season 6 here, and I'm the only person up here who doesn't have my own show. Like,
loser.
You've got Watching the W. Joe's got Educated Ignorance. Andrew's got the Green White Checkered podcast. So I'm the only one without my own show. Like I literally created this thing, and I don't even have my own show.
It's because because either you're lazy or you're smart. One of the two. Yeah. I don't know which one, but maybe we'll find
both.
Stick around. You'll find out after the next 90 minutes.
That's true. All right. So For Fantasy's Sake is presented by Durham Remodeling, Ryan Allison Tattoo, and Jared Zook Country Financial. For Fantasy's Sake is presented, or For Frequency's Sake, that was the For Frequency's Sake, folks. For Fantasy's Sake is presented by Clint's Draft House Pizza, and today's draft show is presented by these lovely folks out here at Atomic Sports Cards and Collectibles. We are coming to you live and in living color from the Milan Community Center at the Sports Card Show this week, as we do every year to kick off the season. So we've got a bunch of stuff on the docket for you today. We will run through a bunch of things. We'll ask a bunch of questions. We'll have some fun. So pretty light and easy today.
Is the fun part mandatory?
No, especially not with me on board.
Okay.
Because I want to keep you to these actual time slots for once. Unlike when I'm not here and the chaos prevails.
Boring.
I know, you guys. All right.
Doug's not a fan of content.
I'm a fan of hitting these breaks. League settings, super flex or no is all that it says here on the shot sheet. So, Donald, do you want to expand upon that?
Yeah, so I particularly wanted to talk to Andrew a little bit about this because I know he's in some kind of interesting different leagues. And Andrew, just kind of tell us about some of your favorite league settings, some of the things that you really enjoy about fantasy football.
Yeah, so I'm in a bunch of stuff, anywhere from, your normal redraft to like Devy League with college players. My favorite league would actually be my own. It's a relegation type league to where it's 2 12-man leagues, and your top league, we call it League A, has a higher payout. So 60% of the funds will go to that, 40% to the lower one. And every year, the bottom 3 finishers of League A will drop down to League B, and the top 3 of League B will move up to League A. Big trophy, money, all that fun stuff, big draft party. But as far as like Superflex and that go, I like Superflex in your just dynasty leagues, stuff like that. And redraft, I don't know, I kind of like just the single quarterback, and you'll see a lot of people get their second quarterback just as a safety net, I guess. But I like adding another flex spot, a little bit of deeper league, get the knowledge going, hopefully for people. Yeah,
I think I agree with that. Like with as opposed to Dynasty. I like having Superflex and Dynasty, or we're in a contract league together. I like having that second quarterback in there because you can make moves. As far as redraft, it's really hard to trade. So if you don't get, a second really good quarterback or whatnot, you're pretty much stuck and it's a lost year. So it's really hard to do super flex. I think if I'm playing in a longer term dynasty keeper, everything like that, I much prefer doing super flex as opposed to one QB. But like you said, redraft definitely one QB. Sometimes you get jerks in the league who draft 3 quarterbacks before you get one.
Are you the type of dynasty player though that is the I'm always looking for next year? Because I feel like that's the playing dynasty fantasy football is like being addicted to stocks. Like you're just always like trying to invest. Like we're gonna in 8 years, bro, we're gonna be at least the 3rd best team in the league. I swear to God. Look at all these draft picks that I have accumulated.
No, I for the most part I'm really good at just knowing what my team looks like. Like out of my 4 big dynasty leagues that I pay attention to, 3 of them I'm like, okay, this is my year, right? And then I got the one, it was my first ever dynasty team. I think we're like on year 6, and I'm playing for 2016 or 2026. I mean, because I made some awful trades and I'm paying for it. Like I had Jalen Hurts, and I think I sold him for pennies. Basically, I think I got Derek Carr and a draft pick, which ended up being Chris Olave. But yeah, I'm paying for it. And it's also a 14-man super flex, so quarterbacks were, they're pricey. So,
yeah, that's tough. That is very tough.
Well, and my other mistake was I went into, or I think it was our 2nd year, and I had like Matt Ryan, Ryan Tannehill, and a couple other guys. I'm like, oh, I'm set for years, and then it was just instantly they're all done. I got nobody,
The corpse of Matt Ryan.
Yep. So now I got Will Levis and Drake May.
That is unfortunate.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, partner.
Yep.
Hey, it's okay. You have like 18 other leagues. I'm sure you'll do good in them.
Exactly. So 2026 for that league, and all the other ones, I'm good.
I always tell myself that I'm not going to be in that many leagues, and I think I'm in like 5. I just I got thrown into like 2 this year that I wasn't ready for.
I love how you say like 5 is a lot of leagues. Meanwhile, Jordan Rangel's in 5 leagues with him.
I'm dude. It's everywhere. I'm like, oh my God, this is so much.
Shout out to Jordan Rangel. Funny fact is, every year when we're setting up the Toys for Tots leagues, I'm like, hey, how many do you want to play in? He's like, well, how many leagues are you going to have?
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, this year we're going to have 10. He's like, well, I guess I want to be in 10 then.
But and does he foot the donation for 10 leagues?
The donation for 10 leagues.
He's the GOAT.
It's hard to tell him no to playing in 10 leagues when I know he's going to, donate. And he even stated, because he's in our quote unquote staff league, he even said that he will donate $20 per team that beats him this year. So.
He's a legend, high key.
Yeah,
high key, not even low key. He's the GOAT.
$20 per team that beats him. That's intense.
He deserves us, especially being nice for him today, because he's got to watch Sam Darnold be his quarterback this year. So I feel particularly
at least
bad
Notre
for him.
Dame won for him last night.
That they did. Very impressive. Shout out to Riley Leonard. That was fun.
Andrew, do you play in a lot of IDP leagues? That's the ones that you didn't mention.
I actually have not played in any. I've toyed with the idea, and I always come back with, I have too much going on my plate with just the offensive players. And speaking of that, kickers and defense, I'm out. I do not like them at all in fantasy.
And we just lost Jordan.
the big thing is like with the Toys for Tots league, we kind of keep the kicker in. It just is a little bit of a wrinkle. The kickers can actually kind of score a lot of points in those, because you get a point for making a field goal, but you also get 1 point for every yard. So like if your kicker goes out there and scores kicks a 56 yarder, you're getting 6.6 points just on that kick.
One of the 2 leagues that I'm in with all of us is got a kicker. The Grim Reaper League.
Yeah, the Grim Reaper League has a kicker, but nobody's ever going to steal your kicker.
Yeah, I'm not against kickers and defenses. Like in I guess it'd be my top dollar redraft. It's got kickers defense. I throw out every year that we should get rid of them, and I always get made fun of. But, it's my favorite league. We're all, we have fun. We talk shit, and it's just one of those things.
I'm okay in never having defenses in Dynasty. Just because it's just so
Dynasty,
random. Even kickers, I don't really want to have a kicker in Dynasty either. But you mentioned one thing that I'd love to do. I've been in one league. It folded after a year. I'd love to do a Devi league. I think that sounds a lot of fun. The one year I did it, it was like a contract league, and I had like Tyreek Hill left on like a 1, and I ended up trading him for like some like regular NFL guys, a draft pick, and then a Devi player. And I remember one person in the league is like, I'd have given you more than that. And I actually went back and saw the message today. The Devi player I traded for was Amon-Ra St. Brown.
Oh man.
And like the big reason I even like knew the name even when he was with USC, because it was early on, and is because I would play, Madden, and then as you get deeper into it, you can download the draft classes. Well, I ended up drafting Amon-Ra St. Brown onto the Chiefs, and he was awesome for me. So I'm like, well, he's going to be awesome in real life.
Oh my God. Could you imagine Amon-Ra and Tyreek on the same team? Because I'm sure you probably didn't trade Tyreek like the Chiefs did.
Right. No. Yeah. So
Two very tiny men who do a lot of cool stuff.
Yep. No, I really like the Devy League. Just learning more college players. I mean, that's what you get into. And like I got Malik Neighbors last year really late in the draft, and I'm just loving it.
Who'd you take this year?
Carson Beck, I think, was my first round just because I have Mahomes, and I can't remember my other quarterback, but I'm going to need one here soon. So Carson Beck.
That's not a bad one. He's really good.
Yeah, I think he'll plan out pretty well for my team.
I think as far as like different things that we've done with stuff is this came from the Scott Fishbowl, and you guys haven't had your drafts quite yet. So in the Toys for Tots leagues, you start 1 quarterback, 1 kicker, and 8 flexes. So regardless of position, you get 0.5 points for every return yard.
Oh my God.
So if you go in and look in ESPN and look at like the projected points, last year Rashid Shaheed would have been the 4th overall flex player.
So Kyron.
Yeah, because
Kyron Williams.
I mean, not Kyron.
No, everyone's saying that because Kyron is a punt returner now that he's going to lose all of his running back value because people are idiots.
But I think there's a world where Kyron Williams could be the 1-1 in those Toys for Tots leagues.
He was only the like outside of McCaffrey, the best player in fantasy last year. But he's basically a bum now because he's going to return punts. I think it is cool talking about all these different types of leagues and different things that we're in. I consider myself a casual when it comes to fantasy, especially compared to you guys. But so break down to someone like me. Scott is like how we do the Toys for Tots point system and stuff. Is that how the Scott Fishbowl stuff pretty much works?
Kind of, yeah. I mean, so quick backstory. So Scott Fish is one of the godfathers of fantasy. So he's the guy who actually invented Devy leagues. And so as part of this, he decided that he wanted to give back to charity. That's one of his big things. And so it started off, I think he had the first year 24, maybe 64 teams. It was small. And basically they played and they donated the money to Toys for Tots. And then as it kind of has grown throughout the years, it's gotten bigger and bigger and bigger. And I can't remember, it was like 900 teams this year, something crazy like that, all across the world. He has live drafts in like Miami and London and Minnesota.
You guys went to one last year in St. Louis, right?
Right. Yep. Yeah, we went last year in St. Louis. They have them in Chicago, Nashville. Like I said, there's a bunch of live drafts you can go to, but the majority of them are, online or those types of things. But that's basically kind of where it started. Then every year he likes to make like a wrinkle. So some years it's tight end premium or tight end 2 points, or 1 year was point per first down. So he's constantly messing with the settings, trying to find, things that are interesting, that make it challenging, that make you sweat a little bit during the draft process to think about how to think about roster construction. So that's really kind of his goal. And then we kind of mirror that a little bit, but knowing that where he's got not only the best of the best fantasy minds, he's also got some high level kind of what we'll call amateur players or non-industry players. We know that on our end of it, we don't have that. We've got some folks who are more casual, like yourself. So while we'd like to do crazy, points per first down and weird things,
we'll get there one day.
Yeah, we'll get there one day. The general folks who are signing up for these things, typically, those might be weird concepts for them. So we try and keep it a little bit closer to middle of the road, just so that the layman can understand what they're getting into.
Do you guys feel, though, outside of like the points per return yard thing, which is insanity, that another crazy thing, a good friend of mine, Nick, not Brinks, the other one, Pearson, he was in a league last year that was points per completion.
Yeah.
So you'd have quarterbacks who'd be like projected like 60 points a game.
So that was like one of the wrinkles. I think it's still in the Scott Fishbowl where you would get a point per completion and negative half a point for an incompletion.
Ooh.
So I ended up like in that league. I had Geno and Mahomes on the same team, and they had like 1 week where Mahomes was like 25 for 30 and Geno Smith was like 25 for 32, and I ended up just scoring just a ton of points in that week. There's points per carry, stuff like that. The big things that we took from Scott Fishbowl for what we're doing now is no negative points. So interceptions, fumbles, you don't lose points. And then this year is when he introduced the 0.5 points per return yard, or 0.2 points per return yard. So you get 1 point for every 5 return yard. But then in the Scott Fishbowl this year, you also get 10 points for a return touchdown. And I'm like, that's just too much. We're not doing that.
Yeah, that's probably a bridge too far.
Hey man, it's all. Hey, I'm all for getting weird. Though I was gonna bring it up, like I think sometimes outside of the craziest things like that, or point per completions, or like I said, the return yards. Don't you guys think that usually the best players are the best players in any type of scenario?
Typically, yeah. Like when I play like half point PPR, like I just assume that it's just full point PPR.
Yeah.
Just because it's.
See, I do the opposite. I draft like it's
I'm going running backs.
non-PPR.
Huh?
I always go running backs heavy when it's half point. Where full PPR, I'm taking more wide receivers, just especially like bench spots.
That's fair. That's
Yeah.
a good way to like
That's
to
probably-
navigate your drafting construction. That's smart.
All right, that'll take
Fantastic take. Good job by you.
Yeah. All right, that'll take us to our first break. On the other side of that, we are going to do a little Elton John talking Benny and the Jets. No, wait, Rookie and the Vets.
Do you love everything sports? So do we. That's why we shop at Atomic Sports Cards and Collectibles. Atomic has everything you could ever want to blow up your collections. They have sports cards ranging from the 1980s to today, whether it's singles, wax packs, hangers, or boxes. They've got vintage hats, clothes, and collectibles from your favorite teams to widen your collection. Check out Atomic Sports Cards and Collectibles today at 102 4th Street West, Milan, Illinois.
No. Okay, and welcome back. So we are back from break. We are going to do a little rookie or vet here on this side. I was actually thinking as we were driving in today, last year, we were talking about, last year our big kind of rookie conversation was around Jordan Love, and now this year we're going to be talking a lot about Caleb Williams. So NFC North quarterbacks, rookie quarterbacks are going to be a hot topic. And then next year we get to talk about the Vikings. Guy,
JJ.
again. Yeah, JJ again.
Again, poor guy. Poor
Yeah.
Jordan.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, Jordan.
So we're gonna have that discussion. Plus, if something bad happens to the Lions and they have to take another one,
Well, that'd be unfortunate.
yes, that would be unfortunate, but that'd be very on brand for Detroit. So first up, we have Jaden Daniels versus Jordan Love.
So, okay, I'll go first. So this is the perfect example. You have me on, who's the casual, who actually has, analytically sound football takes other than fantasy-driven ones, not bashing anybody. But this is how the fantasy view is a billion times different than the regular football view. Because I think you would take Jaden Daniels, although I do love me a little 14-1 Jordan Love MVP this year. I think so Love could very well have a massive fantasy season, but I think for the upside of Daniels to a degree for at least 1 year, I think is there. Especially considering both are being drafted in the same spot. So they're in like the 90s or so from what I've been doing in the drafts I've done. So I think Daniels is probably a little bit better fantasy wise.
So I'm a Packer fan. I'm just going to start with that.
Did you like that 14-1 Jordan Love MVP
I love
take?
it. I love it. But I'm going to say, just right off the bat, I am going with Jordan Love because when you look at all both teams together, what do you have? You got Jordan Love. He's got Christian Watson, Reed, Dobbs, Wicks, and even Bo Melton.
Men Musgrave.
Yep, Luke Musgrave, Kraft. So tons of weapons. And Josh Jacobs, he's already said that he's going to be throwing him the ball more than he was when he was at the Raiders. So I'm just looking at it from that standpoint. I love Love because he's got so many options. Whereas you go and you look at Jaden Daniels, he's got Terry McLaurin. They just got rid of Dotson, so I don't see Diami
Brown, yeah.
Yeah, I don't see him really stepping up. Austin Eckler, I think, might be your second receiver on this team, and I like him a little bit, like in late in drafts. But I like Daniels. I did draft him as a backup in one of my leagues, but I think you're safer with Love.
That's probably the right pick, but you know, I had to say one nice thing about Jaden Daniels. I think the Jaden Daniels, we're at that point in the
This kid's
offseason-
going to defend Jaden Daniels. You just gave me
He
a dirty
is.
look.
We're at the. I know. Sorry, buddy.
He's got the Jaden Daniels jersey rocking it.
He does. That is cold. I love it. We are at that point in the offseason where everyone's tired of hearing about how Caleb Williams is going to be like one of the best, is one of the best prospects ever and could have an amazing year. That everyone's talking themselves into Jaden Daniels winning Rookie of the Year when the Commanders are awful and Jaden Daniels is going to like jump into 9 defenders and get his neck broken like week 6. So like I've loved those beautiful Commanders to the playoffs takes I've been hearing for the last month. It's been great. Who would you take, Doug?
I would probably. I agree with you guys. I tend to lean towards the vets anyway, even though Love's only second year, so it's not like vet. But there's just something up there in Green Bay, man. They just do things right. You think that you can count them out, and then all of a sudden, next thing you know, they're 12-4 and they're in the NFC Championship game, and you're like, how the hell did they get here? Their defense is crap. They have no wide receivers, but somehow they're there.
But now somehow they have like a top 8 quarterback and all their receivers are fun. It's crazy.
Yeah,
LaFleur's a genius. It is wild.
So I'm gonna take Jaden Daniels.
Thanks for not leaving me on an island.
No,
I adore Jordan Love. And it killed me that I had to take Daniels.
I agree with everything that both Doug and Andrew said. But I'm just gonna take like the rushing upside.
There's a world that he can embody the spirit of Robert Griffin rookie season.
So we're playing in a lot of leagues where, I mean, I don't personally because I prefer it the other way. But we're playing in leagues where you're getting 4 points for a passing touchdown and such. And he's adding, he could rush for 1,000 yards. So he's adding that extra upside with his legs where he's not losing points, but he's gaining points that other quarterbacks don't have. So I'm taking my risk on Jaden Daniels, and we'll see what happens. Plus, I believe in waiting on quarterback, and I think that you can get him a little later than Jordan Love. So.
We're on the 9th round right now.
If you
in the staff draft, I don't know if anybody noticed, I drafted my quarterback and my kicker in the last 2 rounds, and I ended up with Aaron Rodgers. So I mean, you never know.
You can basically, if you're trying to gauge in your mind what Jaden Daniels could be fantasy wise, think of a slightly better throwing version, slightly better throwing version than Justin Fields. Same type of running prowess.
I was thinking more like Cam Newton.
Might be a bit of a no.
Yeah, but if you
because Cam could kill you throwing the football. Daniels is a one shot. I think Daniels is going to prove to be a one trick pony.
Yeah,
throwing.
So next we've got yes, I know, I can't help it. It's just what I do.
I hope at your new job you get docked every time you say so on a phone call.
I talk in person. I don't have to talk on the phone anymore. I talk to real people. Anyway,
I'm a real boy.
Now we have the garbage bowl of Bo Nix versus Sam Darnold. There are no right answers here.
There's not.
This is just bad.
Sorry, Jordan. I'm taking Bo Nix because Sam Darnold sucks. That's all I got. Donald?
Wait, I have a legitimate question.
Okay.
Is Bo Nix actually older than Sam Darnold?
That's a great question.
I don't know.
Because I think Bo Nix is about my age.
He's up there. He's close to qualifying for Medicare.
Yeah, and at that point, if you're that old coming into this as a rookie, even if Sam Darnold is the vet, I have to take the vet here just because that ceiling is so restricted, man. The only person who could get in there is my wife. That ceiling is so low.
That's
his wife's short.
That is very funny.
No, you've never met his wife, so I'll take Sam Darnold.
Joseph,
I took Bo Nix. I'm not.
I like the potential weapons in Minnesota. I think in the right scheme he can get some stuff done.
I can't wait for him.
I'm actually taking neither, but in this situation, I'm taking Sam Darnold.
Sam Darnold will continue to always be what he is, and that is Sam Darnold.
If in the situation, like I said, where I took Aaron Rodgers in the second to last round, I would have if those were my two options, I would have been like, well, I've lost this league already.
You're in
Yeah.
you're in trouble.
Well, I am not seeing Ghost. I'm probably on the Bo Nix side here. I like his upside better. So unless if I'm taking, Justin Jefferson in the first and then last round taking Sam Darnold, I'm going Bo Nix.
Yeah, I might. I'm probably taking Darnold and then hoping that somebody gets hurt and I grab the backup coming off the waiver wire. That's probably what I'm looking for in this scenario.
Who's the backup? Nick Mullins?
Hey, Nick
I
Mullins
meant
had
somebody else's backup.
Nick Mullins had a 400-yard game last year.
Yeah.
I mean, it was slinging that thing.
I liked him at Texas with Texas A&M.
Doug's hoping for Skylar
Nick Mullins?
Thompson
Yeah,
when Tua gets
Mississippi
his
State.
concussion.
Mississippi State.
Oh yeah, that's where he went. Yep.
Doug's hoping for Skylar Thompson when Tua gets his concussion.
Hawk 2 of that thing. Shout out to the Dolphins.
All right, next up we have Marvin Harrison Jr. versus Devontae Adams.
Fuck the Raiders.
Yeah.
Great sentiment. This is easy for me. It's Marvin Harrison because the Raiders quarterback room is CZ and Nick Bull. Nothing against those guys, but I don't know how well they can spin the pigskin. I don't know how well they can sling the pill.
Dude, I'm telling you, you give me Nick Bull in a backyard flag football game, I feel like I'm confident we're going to win.
I mean, yeah, he raised a high level collegiate athlete, so potential collegiate athlete. So, I feel like he's got some stuff to him. I'm just saying,
As much as I like the mustache, I might take Nick Bull in that situation.
that you probably.
We are off the rails in the second segment. We haven't even made it to 10:30.
I'm just saying that. Listen,
That is
man,
our brand, though. Yay. All right. So we mentioned that chaos was our brand. That was it right there.
Joe said,
shout out to DJ's Power Strip for turning heel on us.
Joe said Devontae Adams to the Chiefs, and the FCC cut us right off.
They said no, please don't. What was I even gonna say? Oh yeah, so the Devontae Adams. Listen, so I feel bad for that man. I didn't watch the show Receiver on Netflix, but I saw some clips of just how sad he was. He was a very sad dog. I wanted to rub his belly, poor guy. Yeah, that it's going to be a year for hell from him. And give me Marvin Harrison Jr. all day, baby. Cannot wait. I like the Arizona Cardinals. I'm going to hook myself up to the fun IV and just enjoy every second of their season. It's going to be great.
Yeah, Marvin Harrison's the easy pick here, and I don't feel bad for Devontae because he chose to go to the Raiders. So, you made your bed, lay in it.
I agree.
Next up, we have Malik Neighbors versus Stephon Diggs. Now, this one's kind of interesting, I think.
I want nothing to do with Stephon Diggs ever.
Yeah, I'd take Malik Neighbors for the fact that the Diggs stuff is very toxic. He has some toxic, crazy girlfriend vibes. But the problem is that Daniel Jones is employed by the team Malik Neighbors plays for. So, it's kind of like, do you want to get impaled by, what kind of final destination death do you want by drafting one of these two guys? Because Neighbors could be awesome, but his quarterback is one of the 3 worst in the league. So you're good luck. Enjoy that.
Yeah, it's Malik Neighbors here. I think Diggs will be better than people think he is going to be this year, but Neighbors is going to get peppered with targets, and if he can stay healthy because Daniel Jones is just throwing bad balls, he'll be pretty fantasy relevant.
I'm more of a Diggs guy. I think it'll be fine down in Houston. That's just kind of my thought. I don't believe that Daniel Jones can carry Neighbors. I think that this is Daniel Jones's last year. In fact, it wouldn't surprise me at all if he got benched at some point.
I think it's going to be Neighbors carrying Daniel Jones.
Yeah, that's what. Yeah, I don't think he could be. I don't think he's good enough to help Neighbors out. I guess is not necessarily carry him, but help him out. So I think I think Daniel Jones's shelf life is about up. So I would much rather have the guy with the stable quarterback situation.
That's fair. There's a world where all offseason we've been talking about how Stephon Diggs is going to be a train wreck, while also understanding the Texans are awesome. And the Diggs just comes out and has a normal season. And, having 3 great wide receivers sometimes can work, weird concept. So good. I wouldn't be shocked at all if it actually does work out. And we've all just been overthinking it for the last 60 days.
Shocking. All right, last up before we go to break, we'll catch this one real quick. Brock Bowers versus David Njoku. I think there's only one right answer here.
It's Njoku.
Oh,
Incorrect.
It's Bowers.
It's Bowers, Joe.
Well, I love Brock Bowers, but are we talking for fantasy or are we talking about real football?
Either way, Njoku's like a corpse running around out there.
He was a top 6 fantasy tight end last year, wasn't he?
I love
because who was his quarterback? Who was his quarterback? Flacco.
Yeah, my dad, rest in peace. That's who his quarterback
He got Watson
was.
back. And he was awful with Watson.
I mean, that's a fair point, but is Brock Bowers even the starting tight end in Las Vegas?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's their wide receiver too.
It was the dumbest draft pick that I've ever seen in one of the 8 dumbest draft picks I've ever seen in my life.
Michael Penix Jr.
That would be probably number one.
It was not. Listen, the Michael Penix Jr. draft pick was not good considering they're a team actually trying to win a division title, and they decided to burn a top 10 pick on a backup quarterback. But you could sit me down in a room and make that draft pick make sense. The Raiders have holes literally everywhere, and they said, let's draft a backup tight end. And again, I love Brock Bowers. Brock Bowers is a baller. But, I mean,
They have holes everywhere, and they drafted the best tight end prospect in years.
they drafted a tight end the year before top 50 though.
Who was
That's
it?
Michael Mayer.
Yeah, another good
That's the
tight
reason.
end. I don't disagree there, but Bowers is definitely better than him.
Listen, 2 tight ends can work, but not when your quarterbacks are me and my cousin who I don't even know who I'm talking about, but one of them probably is unathletic.
We went from the Raiders quarterbacks being Nick Bull and CC to Joe and his cousin.
Could that be?
Is that an upgrade or a downgrade?
Should that be my gimmick this year? Is just continue to change
the Raiders
quarterbacks to just 2 random people?
I'm here for that.
If I've got time,
Got you.
if I got time this weekend, I'm getting on Canva. And we're just getting
who's the Raiders quarterback?
we got the entire Raiders roster. And it's just for fantasy sake, people and their
Do
and
not
their relatives.
do not do that to me, please.
Oh, do it.
Oh, you have no idea.
No, but do Canva and then but have it be like who are the Raiders quarterbacks this year and start with CZ and Bull, then me, and just put like a blank person and just put Joe's cousin ? In the head, and then that's going to be the gimmick now. It's going to start, and by the end of the year, we'll see it. It's going to be like a Where is Waldo collage of people I've named as the Raiders quarterbacks.
Till week 4 when he forgets about it and the Bears are redacted again.
I know.
That would be sad. Let's be real.
So I think the main thing you have to look at with this matchup is if it's PPR or not, because I'll say right now, bet the over on Bowers receptions week 1. It will hit.
Yeah, that's probably true. All right. With that, we'll go to our break. And from backside of that, we're going to play a little Flex, Marry, Kill.
For frequency's sake has you covered on all things sports. From the squared circle to the hardwood and the gridiron to the speedway, we've got something for everyone. Walk down the aisle with the boys from Cards Subject to Change every Sunday as they take a deep dive into everything pro wrestling. Head on over to the hardwood with Doug Green and Watching the W each week for all the news from the WNBA. Want more insight from Pit Row? Check out the Green, White, and Checkered podcast where they give their insight on everything happening on and off the track. Need your gambling fix? We've got you there. Dan Hancock and Gotham Gambling will help you cover the spread with the Golden Ticket Show. Football more your style? Explore the waters of NFL DFS with DFS Deep Dive with Brian Craighead and Jordan Kernan each week. More into the science portion of the game? The Professor John Bush and Dennis Michelson take you into their science lab and dissect your week in the data lab. Need to know who to start last minute? The network's flagship show, For Fantasy's Sake, is here in a pinch. The fellas come to you live every football Sunday from 10 to 11:30 Central with the week's best DFS, gambling, and lineup advice. And wrap up your Sundays with Joe Winkle and Nick Brinks as they come to you live with educated ignorance, looking at all the day's action. Not enough football on Sunday? Not a problem. Kick your feet up at lunch on Monday and slip into the football lounge with Mark and Dan while they look at the week that was in news, notes, and more. For frequency's sake, you know what we mean.
And we are back. So, again, welcome back to the Milan Community Center out here in scenic Milan, Illinois. We are going to be playing a little Flex, Marry, Kill in this segment. Let's start with
Quickly, real question. Aren't you supposed to, when you come back from break, say, "Welcome back to the show"?
No.
At least he didn't say we're back.
So, we're back.
I'm kidding.
We're so back.
Don't hurt me. DJ's paying me $5 to talk crap about you every time.
How much money did you make last year for the
For fantasy
sake? For
Yeah,
fantasy
he had an opportunity to do it last segment when he's like, "Are we talking for fantasy?" And then he didn't say sake. And
No, I've learned my lesson.
that,
I guess
that's uneducated ignorance right there, Joe.
That's a bar. Put that on a bumper sticker.
UT education. Andrew, where'd you go to high school?
West.
West. Okay. All right. So we'll see if the Iowa side is any smarter than the Illinois side.
No, I just can't read.
Okay. So you can't read. He can't do math.
Are you looking for what I can't do?
Yeah.
What can't I do, Doug?
I don't know. I'm still working on that. I'll figure it out.
Yeah, you'll get
Give
there.
him about 10 years and it's text high school girls.
Oh snap.
He'll be too old for that. UT, texting high school girls. Don't cancel.
That's
me.
not. Yeah. All right. We're moving on before we get in.
Is that like a? Is that a?
Yes, whatever you think that joke is what that joke is.
Is that a VH joke? Is that a TL joke?
Hey, we can go however we want to.
Okay. All right.
So what we're gonna do. Let's start with
Nebraska football played their favorite team yesterday. Go look that up for a fun reference. Anywho,
let's start with the group of names that I only know one of these names. And I don't know who the other two are. So let's go. Austin Eckler, Chase Brown, and Jonathan Brooks.
Well, Jonathan Brooks is the running back for the Panthers, though he's currently hurt.
One ACL.
And this one you started from the third down. Okay,
I did.
Chase Brown is like RB 1.5 in Cincinnati.
ILL.
Shout out to the Illini.
Okay,
we are buzzing for some reason, but it's fine. I will go flex one, start one, cut one. Ooh, I will start Chase Brown. I will flex Jonathan Brooks, which means IR him until he's back, and I will cut Austin Eckler because his legs are crude oil. Andrew, your turn.
Oh man. I think I'm going to lean the other way here. I probably will start Chase Brown. I think I'm going to flex Austin Eckler because he was injured last season. I don't think we saw everything he could be. And Jonathan Brooks starting, going to be out at least 4 weeks. I think he's getting cut or placed on the IR if I could.
That's fair. That's probably smart. I just despise Austin Eckler.
Oh, I'll retweet
His or mine?
his. I'll retweet his. I'll start Chase Brown. I'll marry Chase Brown, flex Austin Eckler, and kill Jonathan Brooks.
So you're getting your Chris Steele on? I agree with Blank.
Yeah.
Shout out Chris Steele, by the way.
Yeah, it's a good thing when I made this, I didn't put Ricky Pearsall on here because kind of
tough. Yeah, hope he's doing okay.
Yeah,
by the way,
yeah.
It's not even like sometimes athletes get shot because they're doing shenanigans stuff. He tried to help stop a robbery. Yeah, shout out to him for being a hero.
Yeah, there's a spectrum there. It's Ricky Pearsall and Plaxico Burress.
Yes, correct. That is great.
That's like that game where they spin the wheel where it's mystery and it's like on this. You know what I'm talking about? They're like, what is it closer to this side or this side, and you have to decide where it's at, and you get points based on that.
I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, it's on TikTok. That's like the Ducks are like Rashee Rice. Yeah, we're closer to Plaxico Burress.
Yeah, that's great. That's fantastic. Oh, make that a Canva graphic. Yeah. Oh my gosh.
All right. Next up, we have 3 more running backs. Let's go James Cook, Kenneth Walker, and Joe Mixon.
Let's let Andrew start this one.
Yeah, Andrew, go for it.
I'm marrying Kenneth Walker, loving this season. Going to flex Cook, and I'm cutting Joe Mixon.
Agreed.
Just because I don't want to agree with Andrew again, because I don't want to do the steal gimmick where he agrees with Brian all the time, I am going to start Kenneth Walker. I'll flex Joe Mixon, and I'll cut James Cook because he plays for the Bills.
I know. I really want to cut James Cook because this is the time of year where I tell everybody that's saying insert in quotations X Bills fantasy player to end
This
quote.
is his Gabe Davis rant.
Yeah, who's going to have a great season, and then I'll turn around and like someone on here will eventually say Khalil Shakir is going to be a breakout player, and then I will in turn say, show me Khalil Shakir's best NFL highlight on YouTube, and then you will say I can't find it, and then I'll be like, well, your take is bad. That's how that conversation
He had
will go.
I think he had a touchdown against the Chiefs last year in the divisional. Yeah, he did.
He did.
Where Allen was rolling out and he threw that touchdown to the front pylon and Shakir caught
that's how
it.
Shakir caught it.
Yeah, I just watched that game again the other day.
Good for him, really. I'm mad you didn't call me over. I would have watched it with you. We could have laughed after they missed the kick at the end. We could have sat there and been like, we could have pointed and like, look at how sad those people are.
So I laughed at the missed field goal by Tyler Bass, and then I also watched the AFC Championship after that and laughed at Zay Flowers. So,
ouch,
poor guy.
Brutal. Capital BRU, capital TAL. I think I'm gonna agree with both of you guys. Kenneth Walker to me is like a fantasy enigma because he was awesome in college. And he had the first 9-10 weeks of his rookie year, he was capital A awesome, and then just kind of was mid. And last year was weird. So it's drafting Kenneth Walker is boring, but there is a world where he is good, really, really good again. And I like him. He's a good player, and I love the Seahawks this season as a team, and I think their offense is really good. But it's hard for me to be yeah, I'll just draft him because it's I don't know. It just seems very boring. But I think Mixon's the one to cut in that group.
Yes, I completely agree.
I feel like if there's just fantasy Tinder Joe's James or Kenneth Walker, I'm gonna swipe right, but then when we match, I'm just not gonna message him right away because I'm just not quite sure.
That's a very potentially we might go out for one drink just to see. We'll tip our water, dip our toe in the in the getting to know each other pool. We'll see what it's like. But you also know that there's 4 other people you're out mingling with while having this nice little coffee date with this one person.
Yes.
Was that too specific?
Yeah,
Sorry.
Joe would be on his date with Kenneth Walker, but also setting up a breakfast date with Kenneth Walker, but setting up a lunch date with somebody else.
Correct.
All right. Next up, we have Cortland Sutton, Christian Watson, or Jordan Addison.
DJ, you go first.
I made this and still want to wolf. Assuming Jordan Addison's healthy and not driving his car intoxicated or way too fast, we'll start. We had a
Rashee Rice and a Jordan Addison.
We'll start Christian Watson. We'll flex Jordan Addison and we'll cut Cortland Sutton.
Okay, I will You know, Christian Watson used to have like before this year, he had like the leg defect where like one was heavier than the other. Apparently, he got that fixed.
Yep, they just came out and said that it is fixed.
They said his legs do weigh the same. Everybody, calm down. I will start Christian Watson. I will flex Cortland Sutton, and I will sadly cut Jordan Addison because I know who the Vikings quarterback is. That's why. And Jordan Addison might miss half the year because eventually he's going to get suspended, ? I know Rashee Rice didn't, but
Jordan Addison's getting suspended at some point this season.
he's definitely going to. Like the Rashee Rice reason he's not is just because whoever's prosecuting that must be a Chiefs fan because they're like taking their sweet time.
They were too. They were since it happened in. I guess it happened in Texas. I can't even make a. They were too wrapped up on lynch mobbing Terrence Shannon in Kansas, but since Rashee Rice happened in Texas, I can't even say that.
Where was Mahomes quarterback at?
Texas.
Weird.
Shout out to the Red Raiders. Guns up, baby. Who survived last night against like Abilene Christian, I think. They almost lost. Like that's a deep cut college football reference on this show at 10:46 in the morning. But my goodness, shout out to the Red Raiders, baby. Andrew, what's your pick?
I'm gonna take the wide receiver 1 for the Green Bay Packers, Christian Watson. I am marrying him. I'm gonna flex
end segment.
Yeah, that's it.
I'm gonna flex Sutton because who else do they have over there in Denver? Gonna go with Sutton, and then I'm cutting Addison just because I think he will get suspended and not worth having on my roster.
Even though the Packers have like 1,000 wide receivers, the one thing is Christian Watson, when he is out there, is pretty much the main guy. Like that is the difference. Because it's hard. You can easily talk yourself into like, and I think that's why like all these Packers receivers have been getting drafted so low. Is because, you know, there's like 5 of them or 4 of them, all these targets. But when Watson's out there, he is clear cut number 1 receiver and is a really good fantasy player.
Yeah. And as much since he doesn't have his headphones on, as much as
my God, I know that guy.
Yeah, I know. Me too. As much as I hate to disagree with DJ, I'm going to agree with DJ. I'm going to go with his answer.
Okay.
And it pains me to say that, but he can't hear me, so
I won't tell him. Nobody record this.
He'll never know.
Even though I'm CIA, I have a camera on me at all times, and I just snipped a picture of you. Do we got one more? We do have one more.
So we're going to go with the
Hold on.
quarterback.
Should we talk just a little bit of crap about the Chiefs a little bit while we can't stop it?
We can't. You can't talk crap about the Chiefs.
Chiefs. Yeah, we can talk crap about all of his love of the Chiefs because it's.
I mean, I'd have a Chiefs tattoo on my face. I mean, if the Bears get as good as the Chiefs, bro, I'm gonna I will just be permanently painted orange and blue. I'm just being honest.
You guys should get some Raiders stickers and just when he's not looking, start putting it on his stuff.
That's mean. That's really mean. Because he hates the Raiders.
I'll just buy some Raiders yard signs and drop it in his yard. But I know he's not home.
That would be funny. Go all political on somebody.
Yeah. Oh, that'd be hilarious.
And then we'll record it to see how he acts. Shout out to him.
All right. So last up is our quarterbacks. And here we have Tua, Caleb Williams, and Jared Goff.
This is by far the toughest one.
Really? I think this is easy for me.
Okay, go. It probably is easier than I'm thinking, but go ahead.
I'm marrying Goff.
Wow, that's not what I was expecting.
That was not what I was expecting.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, Amon-Ra and Laporta, love it. And I think I'm going to flex Caleb Williams. Again, he's a rookie, but he's just got all these guys to throw to.
And I think he's going to have like at least 4 or 5 rushing touchdowns.
Yep. And I am killing Tua just because, I mean, apparently Waddle's got some unknown injury. He's missed all of practice. We don't know what's going on. And Hill's hurt too. I think it's just a hand injury, but
yeah.
I mean, it's not a way to start a season.
No, it's not. I would say, and I love Jared Goff with a burning passion. And I know I said that. I know I've said great things about Jared Goff and Jordan Love on this show while being a Bears fan, but for those that watch my shows and content, they understand where I'm coming from. But I think Goff, what did he finish last year? Well, where did was he top 10?
I think he was like 6, but I wouldn't quote me on it.
Because that's the thing I'd wonder is like what's his, because you're not getting any running there. I know you're not getting any running with Tua either. I think the one you actually probably definitely keep is Caleb, because you're getting a little bit of running because he's going to scramble like crazy. The question is Tua going to lead the league in passing yards again or not? And, you know, the passing to rushing touchdowns from not from them, the player specifically, but like the team, you know, the Lions ran for a bunch of touchdowns. The Dolphins had the running back who led the league in touchdowns. So like it's a coin flip there potentially for me, which makes it tough.
I should also add, and I heard somebody else say this, and I just looked it up to verify. So Goff is bad at away stadiums, and he's always good in domes, right?
Yep.
How many games do you think he has this season not in a dome?
I know the exact number. What do you think? Well, I know, go ahead. What do you think?
So could be potentially 9. Let's go 4.
So
under that, it's 3.
So there, I was gonna say he plays 14 games in climate control, right?
Yep.
The only game that he plays this season that's actually going to be cold is the Bears in December.
Yep.
They play at Green Bay in like early November.
Yep, November 3rd. And that's his first non-dome game. And then he's got the 49ers in December, I believe.
And I think they're the best. I mean, outside of like it's Chiefs tier just because they've won back-to-back Super Bowls.
Yeah, they're S tier.
And then it's Lions, and it's probably a tier after that. Like the Lions are, in my opinion, if the Chiefs weren't coming off of back-to-back, the Lions are the best team in the league, in my opinion. So I think they're going to be awesome regardless. But the fact that they have that and could just steamroll their way to the 1 seed is just, it's silly how if everything just stays on the tracks, you know, they could be, again, really, really awesome. And Goff could put up another good season. So I guess in all of that, I would probably bench Tua, but it's really close just because Tua did lead the league in passing yards last year, even though I'm about as out on him as you could be for being someone who supports the Dolphins.
Yeah. I guess for me, I would – okay, homer time. I guess I would marry Williams. I would bench Tua, and I would cut Goff just for – I don't know. That's just the way I would go. Just a gut feeling.
All right. Where are we at here? Break.
Okay.
We good?
We good. So we're going to go for bet on it on the next after this commercial break.
Do you love everything sports? So do we. That's why we shop at Atomic Sports Cards and Collectibles. Atomic has everything you could ever want to blow up your collections. They have sports cards ranging from the 1980s to today, whether it's singles, wax packs, hangers, or boxes. They've got vintage hats, clothes, and collectibles from your favorite teams to widen your collection. Check out Atomic Sports Cards and Collectibles today at 102 4th Street West, Milan, Illinois.
For frequency's sake has you covered on all things sports. From the squared circle to the hardwood and the gridiron to the speedway, we've got something for everyone. Walk down the aisle with the boys from Cards Subject to Change every Sunday as they take a deep dive into everything pro wrestling. Head on over to the hardwood with Doug Green and Watching the W each week for all the news from the WNBA. Want more insight from Pit Row? Check out the Green, White, and Checkered podcast where they give their insight on everything happening on and off the track. Need your gambling fix? We've got you there. Dan Hancock and Gotham Gambling will help you cover the spread with the Golden Ticket Show. Football more your style? Explore the waters of NFL DFS with DFS Deep Dive with Brian Craighead and Jordan Kernan each week. More into the science portion of the game? The Professor John Bush and Dennis Michelson take you into their science lab and dissect your week in the data lab. Need to know who to start last minute? The network's flagship show, For Fantasy's Sake, is here in a pinch. The fellas come to you live every football Sunday from 10 to 11:30 Central with the week's best DFS, gambling, and lineup advice. And wrap up your Sundays with Joe Winkle and Nick Brinks as they come to you live with educated ignorance looking at all the day's action. Not enough football on Sunday? Not a problem. Kick your feet up at lunch on Monday and slip into the football lounge with Mark and Dan while they look at the week that was in news, notes, and more. For frequency's sake, you know what we mean.
All right, we are back here from. Are we? Is everyone alive? Are we alive? Doug, are you alive?
Mostly.
We're collecting ourselves here. That is for sure.
That's a Princess Bride reference for the young ones out there.
There you go. All right, bring us back from break officially.
All right, we are officially back from break. We are here out at the Milan Community Center. We just had a visit from the legend himself, Dave Baker. So we are here. We are ready to do our next segment, which is Bet on It, which is going to be kind of our over/under game. I assume, based upon what the numbers are here.
I'm betting on Anthony Sandoval being a cool cat. That's what I'm betting on. Shout out to that guy. Hey,
I know.
DJ, welcome back to the party. DJ's not locked in yet. That's okay. Doug, how are you? It's just the two of us.
I'm
no one
here.
else is in the room.
I'm here.
I know.
Yeah.
I'm kidding.
It's okay. I
kidding.
was lost in Anthony's eyes.
He is very dreamy. He is a very dreamy man. Oh, look at this moment right here. Look at Doug showing emotion. Look at Doug showing all this emotion.
I love this man. We sat the first time I met Sando. We were at a tennis meet and it was like 40 degrees and we were like freezing our ass off.
Yeah. That does sound horrendous. I called a baseball game once in like March and it was still fringe weather. I was hating life. I can only imagine. And that was just once. I can only imagine how much like y'all just despise
And tennis
that.
is awful. So
Yeah.
I bet.
Watching it would be awful. I love playing it.
What was the worst one to do though? Like what sport was the one you just hated the most?
I didn't like soccer.
Soccer.
Really?
Yeah. 100. Yeah. It's just boring.
Is it just because you're not a fan of the sport in general?
Yeah. I'm just watching people run up and down. Like I would lose interest so quickly.
Well, so they never sent me to like regular season soccer games. So I was always like those opening round regional games where you had two like very like opposite teams, like one who was really good and one who was really bad. So like I feel like the last one I covered, and it was a sectional opener, so you would have thought they were really equal. It was Moline versus Peoria Notre Dame in Washington, Illinois.
Oh, I know how that ended.
It was 10-0, and so Washington had just had like a couple years ago, they had a tornado that wiped out the whole city. So they had just rebuilt this field that they played soccer at. Well, the press box wasn't fully connected to the stands. So every time the wind blew, we just kind of swayed. And I'm like, I just want to leave. Like, that's all I want.
Yeah.
That's the
DJ's like, we're about to die, everybody.
Yeah, I would rather cover baseball in 40-degree weather than soccer on the best day ever. Somewhere Dan's really
Getting
mad at me.
seasickness while watching a soccer game.
Getting seasickness while bored out of my mind.
Yeah.
I could see why that would throw off your enjoyment level, especially if the game was 10-0.
It kind of depended on the sport. Like I loved covering track. I hated writing up the agate for it.
Agreed.
So that was like, I hated doing that. And then it was always like freezing when I went out there for like all the big meets. Irregardless, here nor there, we are moving on. So we have some under-over bets that we are going to be placing. So let's start up top with DJ's favorite player, Josh
I
Allen.
did this for Joe.
Josh Allen.
Yeah, if he's anybody's favorite player, he's mine.
Over under 12.5 picks.
I was gonna say under, but then I realized he threw 18 interceptions last year. Over.
Yeah.
He'll have to be super for them to be better than like what listen. I'm not out on the Bills. Like if you listen to the over under show the other night, I told you like I gave my prediction. I think they're still. Josh Allen is almost now pretty much an automatic 10 wins, but for them to try to be anything better than that, he's going to have to be superhero, and him trying to be football Jesus will lead him to making bad mistakes. So I will say over.
Yeah, it's over. Just looking at last season's stats alone, it was 18 total. I think it was 15 in the regular season.
18 here. I saw 18, which was regular season stats. Could you bring your mic up just a little bit?
Yep.
There
Sorry.
we go. We're back. I felt like Ken Jacoby there. DJ, what do you got?
I'm over.
Yeah.
I think you got to go over. Some guys just throw a lot of picks just because they're trying to like squeeze stuff in, and he's one of them.
He wakes up every morning with the case of the Effets. Let's get weird.
I like it. All right, next up, new face in Chi-Town, DeAndre Swift. Over under 850.5, which is a very specific number, rushing yards.
DJ, what do you think?
I'll take the over. 851.
That'd be hilarious, but it would also cash. Andrew?
I'm taking the under.
I promise I'm locked in. I'm just trying to find his stats from last year.
Herbert and Roshan will steal some work. I think he's getting under that.
That's what I was thinking.
And Bayless Jr.
See, if it was rushing and receiving, I'd probably be over, but no.
I guess I got to do
He had
this.
1049 last year, Joe.
Andy had a running
But
quarterback.
that's the only time he's been over in his entire career.
That's the only time he's been a 1,000-yard runner. It's tight. That's a great number.
Vegas
go-
don't miss.
I'll go slightly under, I think.
849. 850.
850.
850.
Yeah.
I'm going to go under, but I'm going to say if they go over, Bears are in the playoffs.
I think they could be a playoff team even without him having a great season because I think Herbert will have some good moments. Caleb's going to have good moments.
Right. But I think if he gets over 850, it's because they're running the clock out at the end of the game.
I was just about to say the over could hit here better if, they're leading late in games and they're using him to pound the clock out.
Yep.
But also their rotations in preseason make me seem it's not going to be, 2/3, 1/3. It's like going to be 60-40 instead of like 75-25 or 70-30. So 850 is a lot.
Anywho, next up, got a lot of Stefan Diggs talk today. Over under 81.5 receptions. Andrew?
We're going to go with the over. Like I said, I think he's going to do better than people are saying he's going to do this year.
I'm going to say under. Stroud completed 319 passes last year. I just don't think there's enough footballs to go around for Diggs to hit that.
I know that is, especially when you factor in the tight ends. He ended up last year with 107 receptions. I'm going to go under.
I'll take the over just to be contrarian. All right. Last but certainly not least, Joe's favorite tight end, Brock Bowers, over under 700.5 receiving yards.
I mean, when he's got Joe Biden and Tim Walz throwing them the football.
Coach, vice president, coach, man of valor, or whatever. He served in 7 world wars, did Tim Walz. I probably pissed somebody off by saying that joke. I have no dog in the fight, guys. Don't yell at me. I'm just here for the satireness. That was great. Now you have to put Biden and Walz on the graphic.
This is getting more complex.
This is going to be great. I cannot wait. It's going to be like I said, it's going to be a Where's Waldo collage at the end of the season if Doug commits to the bit. Oh, man. Well, I mean, I love Brock Bowers, guys. I'm just, but listening to y'all earlier, I mean, 700 is too low. He should at least be at like 950. Ain't that right, guys? Yeah, you know what I'm saying? 950 yards. He's going to have 1,000 yards. He might have 2,000 yards receiving this season. He's going to be the greatest player of all time.
I don't think we said that.
I just felt like I got dragged for having that opinion earlier, so I'm going to be a jerk about
So
it.
Joe's got the over.
Yep.
Noted.
Bowers is going to have 110 receptions for 450 yards. It's going to be ridiculous.
That's going to be awesome.
We'll have like
I'm
7
taking the under.
touchdowns.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Like, he'll be the
So like that
tight end
Travis
5.
Kelce game against the Raiders.
Yeah. He'll be the tight end 5, but he'll just have no yards at all.
I'm gonna take the over.
I'm going to take the under. It's just it's just not a good number. I think it's too high. It's hard for a tight end to get to 700.
It seems that way, right? 700 seems rich.
If-
So
if
I will say the under.
If your name isn't Mr. Taylor Swift, it's a hard number to get to.
Mr. Taylor Swift, that's a good one. That's a good one. The only other tight end outside of Kelce, I would say, like Laporta and Kincaid this year, to like really hammer like close to 800, 900 yards. So what? Huh? Okay, then sign him off. Don't just have him leave.
Well, I got to take off, guys. So I guess make sure to watch the Green White Checker podcast Tuesday nights, 9:30 Eastern. And hand it back to these guys.
Quick prediction on the spot. Is anything crazy happening tonight in Darlington?
Yeah, I think it will. I think it's going to be an exciting race. I think everybody's avoiding the regular season championship between Reddick and Larson. I think it's going to be a battle between them two, and it's going to get dicey.
Okay. Do you have best candidate in your mind tonight to steal the last playoff spot?
Oh, man, it's going to be Bubba Wallace or even Carson Hocevar.
Okay, you think he can win?
I think he can win. He's starting second place, and Bubba's starting first. I think it will be between those two guys.
Hocevar's been on a good run. Bubba's been on fire. He's just had horrible luck with everybody else on the world winning.
Yep,
that'll be fun.
Yeah, if Spire can pull it out with Carson, that'd be crazy.
It would be pretty nuts.
All right, Andrew, thank you for joining us as always.
Yep, thanks for having me.
Thanks, brother.
All right, we're going to go to break. On the other side, we will take a look at some gambling futures.
Do you love everything sports? So do we. That's why we shop at Atomic Sports Cards and Collectibles. Atomic has everything you could ever want to blow up your collections. They have sports cards ranging from the 1980s to today, whether it's singles, wax packs, hangers, or boxes. They've got vintage hats, clothes, and collectibles from your favorite teams to widen your collection. Check out Atomic Sports Cards and Collectibles today at 102 4th Street West, Milan, Illinois.
Good afternoon, and we are back again from the lovely Milan Community Center from the sports card show that is out here. If you do have a chance here in the next half hour and you want to drop by, certainly can. Come up here to the front table, say hey. We'll give you some winning lottery numbers.
Maybe an autograph.
You can get CZ's autograph, which we all know is worth a lot of money.
Is it really now?
It is. It's worth quite a bit.
You can be anything you want to be, CZ.
Yeah.
Well, I'm already a wizard, so I've got that going for me.
Exactly. See, we're all good.
So, CZ, I did want to bring you up here. So, in the next couple days, you will have your very first ever fantasy football draft. How you feeling about that?
I know absolutely nothing, so I'm a little nervous. I don't know. I know 2 football players, and the reason I know them is because you talk about them incessantly, DJ, and that's Travis Kelce and Patrick Mahomes. But whether I get them on my team, I don't know.
Probably not getting both with the way the thing is set up, but you might get one or the other.
Well, the good thing is you don't even need a tight end. So if you don't want a tight end, you don't even have to take one.
Yeah. CZ, do you know all the positions?
No.
Okay. Excellent.
I am, as much as you are a wrestling novice, Doug, I am a football, I would say less than novice, if there is such a thing.
That's okay. Hey, and I mean, that's why I go on your show, so I can be educated. Because right now I'm ignorant. See, Joe, that's how you do that.
Now I got to pay you money for shouting my show out.
Exactly.
Are you at least excited, like, for the draft to kind of dip your toes into the fantasy football world?
Yeah, I think it's going to be fun. I especially excited because a good friend of our show, Steve Manders, the one called Manders as he's known now, I'm playing in his league, so that's going to be a lot of fun. Love him to death. He's a great guy, and hope to have him back on our show at some point in the near future. Especially now he just got done with a tour in Japan.
Doug's got his first draft tonight, so I bet Doug didn't even know.
Doug knew because Doug got a notification yesterday and put it on the calendar. But
Doug. Hey,
Doug-olodian.
Speaking of, remember how earlier we were talking about, Joe, you say you only ever try and be in like a couple leagues? That's me. Like every year I'm like, I'm going to be in one league this year because I'm trying to get rid of it. And this joker over here, he's like, okay, I've got you in the staff league. I've got you in 3 Toys for Tots leagues. Here's this other league that I just started. I need an extra body for. So I'm going to have you play this first year until I can find you a replacement. And next thing I know, I'm in like 13 leagues. I'm like, I don't want to set all these lineups Sunday mornings.
And he never finds you a replacement.
No. Yeah, so I'm like setting all these lineups on Sunday morning and going, freaking DJ, you don't want to do all this.
To be fair, I've only got you in 2 Toys for Tots leagues this year.
Tell him to stop being grumpy. CZ, how was Bash yesterday?
It was really good. It was a good show. We did our review or reaction show right after. So that'll be up on audio platforms later today. But no, it was really good. The match that Nick and I both thought would be the stinker of the night really wasn't that bad of a match.
The mixed tag?
No, the women's title tag.
Okay.
But the mixed tag was all right. They all lived up to their expectations. Particularly, if you're a wrestling fan, go out of your way to watch Gunther and Randy Orton. That brings back memories of classic matches from a long time ago. We'll say 80s, early 90s. Just a classic bout between those two.
Hey, Randy Orton. There's a name I recognize.
Gunther's the man. Shout out to him. Will American crowds ever match what they do over in Europe? Because those crowds are insane.
See, we are spoiled here in America because we have so much wrestling to choose from, not just the WWE. And really around the world, you have so much to choose from too. But the WWE in particular, those big stadium shows, those big arena shows, they don't get that over there as often as we do. So no, our crowds here in America are never going to live up to the expectations set by crowds in like France and Berlin.
You know what'll outdo one of those crowds, guys? Is if they ever bring a television taping to Moline, Illinois again. Imagine that ruckus crowd.
Yeah, that'd be something.
When was the last time they were here?
I mean, they come every year, but it's always just their practice shows.
They're quote unquote house shows.
Yeah, they call
is
them
what
house
call
shows.
them.
They're non-televised. They still have the same guys and they still run the same kinds of matches, but it's not televised, so it's just kind of
lame.
It's their practice.
It's probably been at least 15 years since they've had a televised show.
So SmackDown would have been here in 2015, just before my wife and I got married.
Okay.
And then they did the last Ride of the Shield, which was that WWE Network exclusive Easter of 2019. So that would have been the last time they did anything that was
incredibly random
televised.
that was here. Just so random.
Well, not really.
Yeah, when you look at who's in the Shield, it makes sense that it was here.
I mean,
that's fair. Good point. You got me.
Yeah. You really got me now. You got me going.
I'm old enough that I remember when they would used to come to Wharton before the mark was built, which was probably before everybody but CZ was born.
I've been to a Wharton show or two. I don't remember much about them, but I've been to Wharton.
My dad talks about going to shows at Wharton and at John O'Donnell and stuff like that.
Because that was the big venue when I was a kid.
Talks about watching the Crusher and the Bruiser wrestle.
That's where you saw
Bastion Booger.
That's where you saw the Harlem Globetrotters and all those guys back in the day.
I remember that well as well.
Old.
Yeah. But that was a long, long time ago in a galaxy far, far away.
All right, back to football.
Back to football. All right, where do you want to go with this? Do you want to do the futures, or it's almost 11:15? Do you want to just jump right?
Yeah,
into
let's just. Joe, do you have any future guys futures or NFL future win total futures that you just really like that you want to hammer?
So I'm not a props guy, and tonight Nick Brinks and I on our first Educated Ignorance show. It'll be around 10-ish tonight, which is a normal time. Whenever the Darlington race ends, we're going to go live. We're going to give out our A block is going to be giving out our favorite win totals, but just a couple that I'm really a fan of. Let me look here and see. For instance, I love the Eagles under. I love the Lions over. Those are just two. So, just a little teaser for later. So those are a couple that I'm a real big fan of. But for props wise and stuff for players, I always tend to stay away from stuff like that. It's not my forte.
For sure.
Matt Forte?
Shout out to him.
All right, let's rapid fire Doug and we can send us home.
All right. So up we have first more total touchdowns. Pick your James, Cook or Connor.
I'll take touchdowns. I'll take Connor.
Ooh, total touchdowns? I'll go Cook. Connor's got the potential to miss games.
I'll still take the Terminator.
Issues. Huh? Off the field issues.
Yeah. Just an injury risk. I'll go James Cook.
All right. I'm taking the Terminator. All right. More yards. Doesn't say total. Just says more yards. Debo or Marvin Harrison Jr.?
No, you got to read the whole thing.
Why? Because
that's what makes the joke.
Okay. Debo Samuel Sr. or Marvin Harrison Jr.?
I'll take Marvin Harrison Jr.
Yeah, I'll take Marvin.
For more yards?
Yeah.
Total yards.
Yeah.
That's Debo. Because they're
you know what? Now that I think about it,
because he's going to be similar in receiving yards, and then he's also going to have like
That's
enough,
true.
enough-
Debo will do the rushing yards.
Elijah Mitchell's out for the year. If McCaffrey Christian McCaff, get it? McCaff injury, get it? McCaffrey could be real. Calf injuries are very bugaboo-y. If he does get dinged, there is a world where Deebo Samuel, like by week 7, is actually the RB1. So yeah, great point. I might have to. I'll keep my pick, but I'm willing to be very wrong on that.
I'm not just a pretty face.
He's smart sometimes, folks. He is the operating officer or whatever.
Yes. CZ, if you've got any opinions on these, feel free to jump in.
Just jump in, CZ.
Yeah, I got nothing.
Okay.
More Canadian destroyers per 60 minutes wrestled. Adam Cole or the Lucha Brothers?
I'll take the Lucha Brothers on that. Adam Cole's is not technically a Canadian destroyer.
Ooh, that's a great point. And DJ's off and running. DJ's going rogue again.
All right.
Is DJ gonna soil his pants or something? What's happening?
Probably.
Oh, okay.
I mean, it's 60-40 that he's going to do that either way. But more quarterback rushing yards, Lamar or the field?
Oh, that's a good one. I will go.
There's so many good rushing quarterbacks nowadays.
I'll go.
Joe's making the face that I want to make.
I'm gonna go the field. Be contrarian.
I think that's right too, because I think there's just too many good rushing quarterbacks nowadays.
Well, it won't be Fields because Fields isn't going to play every game.
What about Jaden Daniels?
Jaden Daniels, maybe, but Jaden Daniels also might not play every game because he's a suicide boy, if you know what I mean. Just loves jumping. He takes more gnarly bumps than Will Ospreay. There's a much better reference I could have made there, but I probably botched that one. Man, Darby Allen.
Yes,
That's
there you
it.
go. Darby Allen
He's out
takes
here.
the most ridiculous bumps.
Jaden Daniels is jumping off of a ladder to go through like planes of glasses.
I was just gonna say, yeah.
I wasn't gonna potty my pants, guys. This kid was walking around with an autograph card, just raw dog in it. So I went to go take him a top loader, so his card was protected.
Yeah.
Good guy DJ Jarvis.
Look at you go. You're such a great man.
Yes.
Man of the people.
He is a man of the people.
I wouldn't want my kid raw dog in an autograph card.
Oh, you would not. What's your pick here? Lamar or the field?
I'll take the field. I like the potential for Jaden Daniels, but I'll go with the field just to see. Lamar's due for something goofy to happen and make him a pocket passer for a couple of weeks too.
He's due for influenza A to kick in.
Hey, maybe. He already had that.
Yeah.
Never know.
Never know.
All right. Tight end U. More yards. Hawkinson, Kittle, Fant, or Laporta?
Oh my God! Imagine if Hawkinson was on the
Right.
Dolphins. Hawk Tua. Get it? Throw that thing.
There's another Canva graphic that we can make.
Please don't.
Oh man!
If you get both of those guys on a fantasy team, though, Joe, you're gonna have to trade for somebody.
I don't have either one.
Hawk Tua graphic. That's the new Arthur Smith sploogeon on everything.
Oh, the turkey baster.
Turkey baster.
There you go. Well, at least every time we do one of these shows when Doug is hosting, I always give him an idea for a new graphic.
You do.
So I'm going to keep a running tally of all the Raiders quarterbacks' names that I say. So
okay,
so we're at Nick Bull and CZ.
We're at Nick Bull and CZ. Me and one of my cousins that I don't really know any of them, and then Tim Walls and Joe Biden.
Send me all of these after the show because I made the turkey baster last year.
He did make the turkey baster, but the thing is, I'm going to keep like a running. I'm going to keep a running thing in a notebook for the entire season.
Yeah,
and
so you're going to have to add 2 people every week.
Every time I'm on a show.
You got to think on Sundays, he's going to have like the pre-show where we ask something about Devontae Adams or Brock Bowers.
Actually, the fact that I'll have faces over faces just will make it better.
That's the joke. So like I said, it's going to be a Where's Waldo collage.
We're inevitably going to ask an opinion about somebody on the morning show. And then the evening show, he's going to, like, something goofy's going to happen. They're going to be talking about it. They're like, yeah, you have 2 quarterbacks. You have 0 quarterbacks. And they're out there running around Donald Trump and J.D. Vance. Like, I had to be equal opportunity here.
I know. We don't have sides. We're just satire. Okay.
That's
More
2 more,
yards.
though.
It is. More yards. Hawk, Kittle, Fant, or Laporta.
Give me Laporta based on health.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hawk's not going to.
It's gonna be Noah Fant.
Hawk's going to miss time. Kittle is like always prone to get hurt. Fant, Laporta. Fant. I don't know how much tight ends are going to get used in that offense. He's like the 5th most important target. Laporta easily.
Yeah, I'm going to go Laporta as well. Now we're going to move into positional number ones, and I'm going to do this out of order because I want to make the segue. For tight end number 1, because Andy Reid said that they're going to try and get Mr. Taylor Swift less passes this year.
Yeah, and they're deep at tight end now, too.
He wasn't even tight end 1 last year, was he?
No,
So
Laporta was.
who is your TE1?
I'll go Laporta. I mean, I think if it is Kelsey, that I think that goes well for the Chiefs. But yeah, I'm gonna say Laporta.
Yeah, we're in the point in time when Travis Kelce is getting to that age where he's going to save it for
The
playoffs.
Yeah.
And they have much bigger fish to fry,
So,
him anyway.
That's the biggest thing that I've always kind of said about him towards the end of his career. Like, why can't he continue to be great but be more of a Gronk role where he plays more inside the 20s and does less of stuff? He's still a very good route runner and can get open in that 30 yards.
And they're not going to need him to be as big of a threat this year in the regular season as much because they actually have wide receivers that are
For sure.
They actually have wide receivers who are like NFL players.
Well, and they've got, I mean, Noah Gray's not a bad tight end. They drafted Jared Wiley. They Luke whatever.
Shoemaker.
Or no, they got Hendershot.
Okay.
Yeah, so they got Peyton Hendershot. I mean, all those
You're
guys
making
are
those names up.
all right, yeah. All those guys are capable of doing stuff. So we'll go Laporta.
Okay, fair enough. I guess I would go. Yeah, I don't mind Laporta. Yeah.
I was going to say, if you steal mine, I'm throwing my phone at you.
All right, we'll work up the list now,
Well,
guys.
he's
I
got
haven't
one.
gone yet.
Oh,
Trey McBride.
Trey McBride.
Yep, I'm going out of left field.
That's more like right center, but it's fine.
Yeah, it's not like crazy,
Nah.
but it's just I love Laporta. I just wanted to give a different answer, and B, got a huge target share last year. I know it's going to go down because of Marvin Harrison Jr., but I still think he's going to have a really good year. Getting Kyler for 17 games instead of 8 is definitely going to be big.
For sure.
And their offense is going to be capital F fun, so can't wait for it.
Doesn't Kyler being back might hurt him more though because Kyler's going to be running around as opposed to throwing it to him?
I just think having a legitimate quarterback for the full season instead of, last year I was just looking like he had 800 yards. Their second best guy had like 500, and half the season they're starting a combination of like Clayton Tune and Josh Dobbs, so it's a bit wonky. So I think there will be definite. I get what you're saying, but I still think he's going to have at least a similar season. Maybe touchdowns, maybe goes up a small portion. You never know.
Yeah.
That'll be interesting. That's always a possibility. Plus, if we all said Laporta, that the show's boring.
True. All right, who is going to be the wide receiver 1 this year?
It's a great question. I'm going to say it just because I drafted him in the league I care about the most. I'm going to say Amon-Ra St. Brown.
I like it.
I like it.
I'll go Tyreek.
You. Let me go. Hold, please, while I try and remember who wide receivers are, because I'm now on the Chris Steele plan of I only care about football from week 1 to the Super Bowl, and sometimes not even every week. So I'm a little fuzzy. Let's go. Let's see. CeeDee Lamb got his money. I'll take him.
A great other option is Garrett Wilson.
Yeah.
For wide receiver.
Great segue here because my RB1 is going to be Breece Hall.
Ew.
What do you think?
For
RB1.
RB1?
Yeah.
I don't think so. Hang on, let me Google
What are you looking for?
I'm looking for names because I don't remember any of
Oh
them.
my gosh. RB1 for me is gonna be Bijan Robinson. Bang bang. Bang bang gang.
Bang bang.
Guns up.
I will take. You know what's funny is I've heavily leveraged on Saquon this year. I don't know if he'll be RB1, but every draft that I've had, he's like come my way. Now I don't know if they'll use him as much as they did in New York, but he's been the guy who seems to constantly be sliding into my roster. So I think he's going to have a good. That was close, but not quite. Obviously, CMC is going to be.
Doug's got him sliding right into his RB2 hole.
Yes.
That's disgusting.
Hey, we are equal opportunity here. Yeah, I would say CMC. Like I said, as a dark horse candidate, I like Saquon.
Yeah. If I wasn't so out on if I didn't have so much like embedded in being out on the Eagles, I would love to try to formulate a take where Saquon Barkley has like a Christian McCaffrey type impact on the Eagles offense, and they're great. But I also think the Eagles are going to be a dumpster fire this year because they didn't fire the coach that the team quit on halfway through last season.
That's fair.
Yeah.
So Hassan Reddick's quit on everybody.
No kidding. He just woke up one day and was like, yeah, I don't want to play anymore. I'm retired. Retirement's fun. What are we really doing with life?
I don't blame him.
It could be worse. It could be worse. You could be like Jimmy G, or not Jimmy G, Devontae Adams, where you quit on Jimmy G, and then all of a sudden you have Zach Bryan and Morgan Wallen as your quarterbacks.
Let's go. Oh my gosh. Zach Bryan and Morgan Wallen. Those are good ones. That's good. I like
because
that.
looks wise, you're kind of right there on the
Morgan Wallen and Gardner Minshew.
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah.
Very good.
All right. Last but certainly not least are the quarterbacks.
Doug doesn't know anybody in the NFL anymore.
I don't.
He spent too much time doing WNBA research.
I'll go. Doug.
Who's going to be small forward one
Doug
in
likes
WNBA?
Kate Martin.
No.
I'll go. That guy in Buffalo.
The guy in Buffalo?
Yeah, I'm trying to reverse jinx him here.
Okay.
You're probably right, too. That's the thing. He's got to do it all. I don't want to say him, but I think I'm going to have to say them. I can't believe I got him in the staff league, by the way. Or was it the Grim Reaper league?
I think it's Grim.
I got him in the bottom of the 4th round.
That was when there's only a one quarterback league.
Huh?
It's one quarterback league.
I was still.
Doug took 3 quarterbacks in staff league.
I was like, is
I had a brain
everyone
fart.
drunk?
He had 3 quarterbacks before I had 1.
Well, I tried to have 2 good quarterbacks, but I had a brain fart and forgot that I had drafted Caleb Williams. I'm like, Tua's sitting right there. I'm going to take him.
Tua. Draft that thing. Yeah, crap. Who do you got quarterback 1, Doug? Learn who the quarterbacks are in the NFL right quick for me.
All right.
And then tell me who you're going to draft.
All right. Well, okay. Well, here's the question.
We're
All right, I've got Kurt Warner.
Yeah.
Kurt Warner. No.
Marshall Falk. We're such a well-oiled machine operation over here.
Well, yeah, it's hard betting against Mahomes, but I guess looking here at these rankings, the question I would ask is, how do you feel about Anthony Richardson?
You get that upside with the rushing. I mean, if he can stay healthy.
Sorry.
Joe's processing. He's an interesting guy to me. He played half a season, and the half a season looked really good, but he missed half a season.
Right.
And it's like, do I want to invest a high draft pick in a guy who might only give me half a season?
Right.
Sorry. I'm regretting not. I'm just annoyed. Quarterback 1 is going to be who gives a shit. Caleb Williams. That's my hot take. I'm kidding. It's not going to be him. I don't want to put that bad juju into the ethos. Anthony Richardson, great pick. I drafted him in the league. He's going to be quarterback 1, DJ. That's going to be quarterback 1.
All right. Send us home, Dougie.
All righty. So thank you for everybody who has stopped out listening, said hi out here. We want to thank, as always, our sponsors for the network of Durham Remodeling, Ryan Allison Tattoo, and Jared Zook Country Financial. We want to thank Clint's Draft House Pizza and Draft House for sponsoring the show. And we want to thank the folks at Atomic Sports Cards and Collectibles for sponsoring today's show. As always, you can catch us out on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Threads, Instagram. You can find us on all of these socials. Every week you can catch Joe. Joe's going to be on multiple times a week. Usually, Sundays, Mondays, and Thursdays, I believe.
Something like that.
So
yeah,
just keep your eyes peeled. Joe will tell you when he's going to go live.
Sundays, more times than not Monday nights, and then like Thursday-ish afternoons.
Okay,
That's the plan right now.
So just keep your ears peeled for Joe. CZ's show usually goes kind of every Sunday. Times may vary, but generally sometime on Sunday you will hear from him and Nick.
Not this Sunday. They went yesterday.
Obviously, you can catch us every Sunday morning for Fantasy's sake. Every Sunday morning from 10 to 11:30. We'll take you up to 11:30 in the morning. Other than that, there are other great shows on the network. Make sure that you are catching the Football Lounge. Make sure that you are watching the W, Points in the Paint. Who else am I forgetting? Green, White, Checkered Podcast. We have so many shows, I've forgotten them all now. But make sure that you're checking us all out. We will see you all Sunday, bright and early. And until then, set your lineups and have a good season.